Talk to me a little bit about Kevin Durant. How was he as a player? Did he have the same kind of drive that you see now? You almost see him as kind of a leader where he almost takes over games at some points.
Yeah.
Was he like that when he was here? Was he a quiet kid? What was his work ethic?
He was quiet and very hard worker. When I talked about the 6 o'clock workouts, he was there. Whether you were there or not, he was there. You left the gym open and made sure there was a ball in the gym. He was going to come and work out. And he was here with Ty Lawson, and he and Ty were really best friends, and they worked out all the time. Kevin was driven. People thought I was crazy because he was really thin. Much as I love Melo, I said, in the end, I think Kevin's going to be the best player of the two. And people thought I was crazy because Melo, at that point, he'd won an NCAA title, and he was in the NBA. And NCAA title his freshman year. So people thought, man, you're out of your mind. And because he wasn't even 200 pounds. He was like 6'8".
Right.
And he got shoved around a little bit, but his skill level was such a high level. He could handle the ball, he could pass it, he could shoot it, he could score inside, post up. He's still thin, and he still can go inside, and he gets banged, but he still finishes plays, and he can shoot with unbelievable range now. And he had great range back then. I just thought he was going to be a great, great player, and of course he's doing that now.
Well, in putting together the Oak Hill highlights, a lot of things that I saw with Kevin Durant was he had the range back then. He's obviously hitting the jump shots.
Yeah.
A lot of things I've put together with him have been jump shots. Why didn't he come back for his senior year here?
His dad called me in June after we graduated the class before him, and they're from D.C., he had gotten wind that Nolan Smith and Mike Beasley were coming. And he called and asked me, so are you taking Nolan and Mike? I said, yeah, they're good players, and they're from that area. And he didn't feel like Ty, Nolan, Mike, and Kevin could coexist. Now, they were all on, Ty and Kevin were on one AAU team in D.C. Nolan and Mike Beasley were on another team. They were kind of rivals. But now they all were friends. They got
right.
I thought it would have been one of the greatest teams in the history of high school basketball.
Oh, yeah.
I was all for it.
Right.
And Kevin's dad felt like, and Greg Oden was in the same class with Kevin. And Greg Oden was the #1 player in the class since the 8th grade. And Kevin was number 2. And nothing was going to change. And I know since then, Greg Oden's never played. He's been hurt. And Kevin's risen to be a star.
Right.
But at that time, nobody knew that. And I told his dad, I said, here's how it works. I've been doing this for a long time. With the politics involved and all this and the scouting service, nobody's dropping Greg Oden. He's a 7-foot guy from Indiana. They're going to rank him #1 at the end of the year, no matter what Kevin does. Doesn't matter if he switches schools. He felt like he'd be highlighted at another school instead of being here on a really good team and being. And he was our leading scorer his junior year. He averaged 20 points a game as a junior, and he would have been our leading scorer, I guarantee you, his senior year. But his dad just felt like he wouldn't get the exposure, and he wanted to be the player of the year.
Right. And
he transferred to Montrose Christian. At the end of the year, he was the second-ranked player, and Greg Oden was the player of the year. Just like I told his dad, I knew how it's going to work. Kevin could have scored 50 games his senior year. Nobody's dropping Greg Oden because he's a 7-footer.
Right.
And he was going to be the next Bill Russell, the next Wilt Chamberlain. He didn't pan out to be, but that's what everybody thought.
Right.
And his team won 3 straight state titles in Indiana. And when I just know from past experience, they're not going to drop those kind of players. He could have got hurt. He still would have been playing.
Well, they won you guys won the national championship his junior year,
Yeah.
so you could imagine what that team would have been like if had he come back for his
And
senior.
it might have been the best high school team ever.
Right.
I mean, you got 4 NBA players at a high level and great players in college. Nolan goes on and he wins an NCAA title with Duke. And Beasley's player of the year in the Big 12 as a freshman, sets all kinds of records. He leads his team to a national championship. And then there's Kevin, he's a one-and-done guy. He broke all of Beasley's records in the Big 12. So you had 4 players like that. Now, it would have been a lot of pressure on me.
Right.
Because we would have had to blow everybody out every night and we would have looked bad. But that's the way it goes. I wish Kevin wanted to come back bad.